open through March 3rd, so let's dive in to some of the more notable names that could get tagged, starting down in Atlanta with tight end Kyle Pitts. Pitts coming off a career year in 2025, ranking second among tight ends in both receptions and receiving yards. The only person in front of him, first team All-Pro Trey McBride. So Field, what should the Falcons do with Kyle Pitts this
Courtney, I'm going to let him test the market here. I would like to bring Kyle Pitts back, but it has to be back on my own terms as well. This team does have some needs all across the roster, and they do not have a first-round pick. So there's going to be more limited resources to work with this offseason. And that, of course, doesn't even get into the fact that this team has to figure out what at least its beginning of season quarterback plan is going to look like until Michael Penix Jr. does return. So let's let him hit the open market and try to negotiate.
All right, let's go up to Cincinnati.
Nope. Let's not go to Cincinnati. Let's stay down in Atlanta. Having him test the market, I don't know about that, man. Why? You finally have some momentum going in that regard, and now you're going to do yourself a disservice in that. I don't see the value in that in any moment of time right now. You have a lot of needs and you're missing a first-round pick. So why are you going to give up something that you actually already have? You're then taking a step backwards, have less to work with, and then trying to move back forward. You're trying to take one step back, 2 steps forward. I can understand if you're trying to be like, well, it clears up some money and then we'll be able to buy this and buy that. I get that to a degree, but if you're also talking about Michael Penn and now you have Stefanski there, you want to go all in offensively and give your quarterback with this new coaching staff the best opportunity for success. So you can reach the conclusion, he's our guy, he's not our guy. That's what you need to do. It's exactly what the Bears did last season. This past season when Ben Johnson, he said, we're going all in on offense. We're fortifying this O-line. We're getting more weapons. Like, we are going for it because we are figuring out this year. Is Caleb the guy? Yes or no? No question about it. We are figuring it out right now. That's what you do. You support your quarterback to the max when he is young. That is what you do. That is what you do. So I don't get testing the market, because if he tests the market, I think he'll be able to just go somewhere else. Like, that's the reality. I think he'll successfully then just go somewhere else then, if that's the case. They let Saquon Barkley test the market. I am not comparing Saquon Barkley to Kyle Pitt, so, like, don't get lost in that. But, like, it's just like, that always sounds good in theory. That always sounds good in theory. And it's just something that I personally disagree with. So, I just think that's one of those takes that sounds a lot stronger and confident and bolder. Yeah. So, to me, the big thing is this is where you also just kind of let Stefanski make some of these decisions. Because if you tag them, you're kind of kicking the can down the road, and then it will be more expensive later on. But you get to see, hey, is this a guy that we do want to stick around? It gives you an out, right? If you just tag him, if you're confident in who he is right now and you're comfortable with the trajectory that he's on, then you can get him for theoretically cheaper, right? If you just kind of sign him and take care of him right now. Someone said, I just read in the comments as I was getting ready for this video, there was, because Lamar Jackson's up for a new contract, and they were saying, oh, Colin Cowherd kind of came out and was like, about how much money it's going to cost for Lamar and how hard it is. And they came out and said, yeah, but Lamar Jack, Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl, and, he was owed a lot of money. He was paid a lot of money. And it's just like, you're missing the forest for the trees there, because the Eagles are incredibly smart how they conduct business and how they do the guaranteed money and how they front load so much of this type of stuff and how they take care of players early on. So all these play a lot of the players that they are confident and comfortable in. Even just look at Jay. We can look at A.J. Brown and Devontae. Like, in a lot of ways, those guys are underpaid for the production. Saquon Barkley was underpaid for his production. Like, you're able to do those things. And they have an awesome GM who can do that. So comparing that to the Baltimore Ravens is just silly, quite frankly. Copying just an incredibly well-run team and just saying, oh, we can do that too. It's this kind of right. It's like when you look around the league and you see, oh, lots of these teams are going for it on 4th down, and it's like, well, yeah, they got Josh Allen, they got Patrick Mahomes. They got, an elite O-line yacht. It's like, yeah, well, they got a great coach, they got a great quarterback, they got a great O-line, they got these great things. You don't have that, so maybe you don't go for it on fourth down as much as they do. Just a thought, right? And I'm not saying that that's obviously not about the Atlanta Falcons. I'm just saying in general. So that's where you have to figure out how comfortable you are about some of the decisions that you can make. I keep talking about this and I'll be a broken record, but like the team, like the Atlanta Falcons, or this 3-year window, this 3-year window, this 3-year window, really a 3-year timeline where it's just like, okay, you brought in Stefanski, you're kind of hitting the reset button. What do you do these next 3 years? You have 3 years to become a truly great top team in the NFL, a truly relevant team that you're like, yeah, man, here we are, let's go. And so it's like what you do have to kind of look at it on that 3-year window, and you have to find what you're comfortable navigating in that window. That's what you have to figure out. And so if you are comfortable from just a financial standpoint of like, what, we can tag him, we'll be comfortable if he has another great year or, successful year, and now we're going to have to pay him a little bit more money. Not only because we have to pay him a little bit more money because he has more to bargain with at this point, but also now it's a year later, so it'll be, be a little bit pricier, etc. Like if you're comfortable navigating that, for sure. If you're comfortable navigating, what we can kind of put a decent value price on him right now, if we sign him right now, and you're comfortable doing those types of things, then you do that. But at the core of it, and this has been kind of my common theme with a lot of these new coaches with new teams, McCarthy, Stefanski, Harbaugh, it's like this is where you have to trust. Obviously we're talking about an offensive player, an offensive, you're the offensive mind who you brought into the building, the expert that you brought into the building. If you feel that Kyle Pitts, that you reach the point of like, you know what, I know things were a little bit rocky at the beginning, they're significantly better now, and that's not a fluke. I'm confident in this. I'm comfortable in this. Let's just take care of this right now. Let's not play this game right now. Let's build this culture. Let's take care of these players. We're looking long-term right now. We're not looking short-term. We're looking long-term. We're building this core. We're building this team to be a great team and a top team. And you know what? Kyle Pitts is a big part of that. Let's go. Right. You take care of that. You take care of that. And then honestly, in a lot of ways, if you believe that he is a good, great, successful player, whatever words you want to use to define, then don't play this whole game. Just take care of it right now. Just take care of it right now. And then if Penix isn't the guy, or they do start back, well, you at least have that core. Then it puts you in another position where it's like maybe now like Mac Jones is available next year, or whatever quarterback somehow finds their way of like, oh hey, I'm here, I can play. I can have success. Someone who's again another similar Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, M Jones-esque experience, or you have the core taken care of. You're paying these guys. Let's say Penn just ends up not being the guy or whatever. So then therefore, you're obviously not a good team. Well, now you're going to be drafting high up in the following year. And now again, you have your core, you have them paid, and actually now you have them paid in a way that it's actually cheaper than it would have been. Now, you draft that young quarterback and you'll still have extra cash and space to then be able to still continue to build around him. So I just favor, I think, the teams that take care of business early 9 out of 10 times end up in a better situation. It's when you drag your feet is when you fall into some trouble. But if you don't believe that he is the guy, well then I think then maybe you don't even play around with the tag. I mean, you can make the argument that having him for just 1 year would be okay, I guess, but like, I don't know. At that point, then you maybe do want to free up some cash and then try to do some damage in free agency. That's why, to me, it's also depends on how comfortable you are in terms of, that's why I said the 3-year timeline, in terms of like what are you most comfortable navigating, right? Don't just try to copy and paste. What are you most comfortable navigating? That's what you kind of have to figure out. And it's, again, it's hard, I think, from the outside looking in to figure out what that looks like from management perspective, because how the heck will we know what they are most comfortable with? Like, we know like how Roseman is maximally comfortable making deals, right? Like, that's how he's comfortable building out a roster, is making deals and finding value, right? The Rams and the Seahawks, they're most comfortable in the draft, right? That's where they are at their maximal comfort. I'd say the same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, the 49ers are more about making some deals. Like, I just think it's, you know, again, and it's not all or nothing. It's not one or the other, but like, you're just going to like anything. You're going to have some of your strengths in that regard and some of your weaknesses. So if you have a player that you feel that you got the body you think can be good, well then, you know, if you're on this 3-year timeline that I'm putting you on, I kind of just say take care of it now. And if you still have question marks about him, then I don't know. I think there should be enough there that you can get a confident eval, you know, a comfortable evaluation with Stefanski looking over all of this. And if he's comfortable, if he's confident, then I don't think you just play a franchise tag game, testing the free agency market game. You can still do it on your terms. You can still navigate this situation successfully. And if you can't, well, then you need to look at better management. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Atlanta Falcons? Should they keep Kyle Pitts? Should they do a franchise tag? How do you want them to navigate this off-season ace and free agency draft, etc.? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, so it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.